Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Overwatch Weekly. I have quite a few things to talk about this week, so let's just jump into it and start with the big thing that happened this past weekend, which was the May Melee tournament for the Overwatch League. In the Asia bracket, the Shanghai Dragons were the victors after a reverse sweep over the Seoul Dynasty, and in North America, the San Francisco Shock, the defending champions, defended their title against the Florida Mayhem in the finals. So I have a link in the description. You can check some stuff out there if you want to learn more about what happened in the tournament. It was a really good tournament, and I'm glad we're seeing more in June. The Overwatch League is taking a bit of a break for the next couple of weeks, but we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. Let's move on to the second story, which is the book for Overwatch, the Hero of Numbani, the official Overwatch novel, is coming out. So, as it says here, the first official Overwatch novel from critically acclaimed author Nikki Drayden is coming June 2nd. Nikki Drayden is, of course, the author of such things as The Prey of Gods, Escaping Exodus. I don't know what any of these things are, but she's a well-known author and a critically acclaimed author. I don't read a lot of books, so I don't actually know. But as I say here, the Hero of Numbani tells the full story behind Aoife and Orissa's heroic origins, offers a glimpse into Talon's machinations in Numbani, and provides some must-know hints at things to come. This action-packed tale is available to purchase from Scholastic now, and they also provide a summary and a little excerpt. The book is recommended for ages 12 to 18, so I guess it's like a young adult book, even though technically the young adult genre is just a book about a young adult character, not necessarily a book for young adults, but anybody can read it. If you're just 12 to 18, anybody can read it. But the summary of the book: in the technologically advanced African city of Numbani in the not-so-distant future, humans live in harmony with humanoid robots known as Omnics. But when a terrorist tries to shatter that unity, a hero named Aoife Oladele arises. Aoife has been making robots since she was little, machines to better her community and improve people's lives. But after she witnesses Doomfist's catastrophic attack on the city's OR-15 security bots, Aoife feels the call to build something greater, a true guardian of Numbani. While Doomfist sows discord between humans and Omnics, Aoife engineers an intelligent and compassionate robot, Orissa, named after the powerful spirits who guide her people. Orissa has a lot to learn before she's ready to defeat Doomfist, but Aoife has some learning to do too, especially when it comes to building and being a hero. With Doomfist rallying his forces and the military powerless to stop him, can Aoife mold Orissa into the hero of Numbani before it's too late? This action-packed novel features the fan-favorite characters Aoife, Orissa, Doomfist, and Lucio in an all-new original story straight from the minds of the Overwatch game team and critically acclaimed author Nikki Drayden. And as I mentioned, there is an excerpt. I read it. It's interesting. I think I'm going to pick up this book in some capacity at some point, but we shall see what happens. But I'll have a link in the description that has more information on it, and I hope that me pronouncing Orissa two different ways while reading that didn't annoy you as much as it annoyed me. I don't know why I did it. Moving on to the next story, the definitely biggest story that I have today, though not an unsurprising story. We have an update on BlizzCon, and I will read to you the announcement from Sarah Lynn Smith, who is the executive producer of BlizzCon. Hello, Blizzard community. Several weeks ago, I shared an update about our uncertainty around holding BlizzCon this year. Since then, a lot has changed, and a lot also hasn't changed. During this time, we've had many discussions about what holding a convention could look like in light of all the health and safety considerations we'd want to make. We've also talked about different paths we could take, and how each one could be complicated by fluctuations in national and local health guidelines in the months ahead. Ultimately, after considering our options, we've come to the very difficult decision to not have BlizzCon this year. We're feeling deeply disappointed about this decision, and imagine many of you will feel the same. I truly love BlizzCon, and I know that's a sentiment shared by everyone at Blizzard. We will sorely miss connecting with so many of you at the convention and recharging our geek batteries this fall. But we will meet again. We're talking about how we might be able to channel the BlizzCon spirit and connect with you in some way online, far less impacted by the state of health and safety protocols for mass in-person gatherings. We'd want to do this as soon as we could, but given that this is newish territory and the different factors involved, it will most likely be sometime early next year. BlizzCon is also a stage for big esports events in Blizzard games each year, so we're also looking into alternatives for supporting some of the high-level competition that would normally take place at the show. We'll tell you more about our plans as they develop, but in the meantime, we hope to see you exploring the Shadowlands, hanging out in the tavern, pushing the payload, do it, and whatever else in the Blizzard universes you may roam. Stay safe and stay well, Sarah Lynn Smith. I don't want this to sound like bad, but I'm glad that they are not holding BlizzCon, if only because I think it's the best option for the safety of everybody involved. The best option is to not put people at risk of potentially getting sick. The chances of there being a vaccine by then are pretty low. There is a possibility, of course, but the chances of there being a widespread one, very, very low. So I applaud Blizzard for making that decision. I'm interested to see what other things they have planned for the future in terms of esports events. You know, I love the Overwatch World Cup. I would love to see the Overwatch World Cup return, but obviously it's a little bit different when you're not on that stage. So we'll see what happens with everything, but I think Blizzard made the right decision, and I'm sure we will see more news out of Blizzard in the future. In fact, I know we will see more news coming out of Blizzard in the future, because it was announced that Blizzard will be participating in the IGN Summer of Gaming. Now, what is the IGN Summer of Gaming? Well, it is going to be taking place June 5th, 8th, and 9th, part of the IGN Expo. And there will be announcements and showcases of different games. Now, Blizzard's date has not been revealed yet. We don't know when they're going to be there, but there's a whole slew of things happening with IGN in their Summer of Gaming. So I'll have a link in the description to the IGN article about it. There's some interesting stuff going on, and so I'm interested to see what types of news and announcements we get. I don't think we'll get any news or anything, any big announcement about Overwatch 2 in this, because the original plan was to talk about it at BlizzCon, and obviously that's not happening, but that would have been happening in early November. So I don't think we'll get anything, but I guess there is a possibility that they do show something. We just don't know what. So that's interesting there. Overall, I think that these are some good moves that they're making. I'm interested to see what kind of happens with stuff like E3 being canceled, and obviously with BlizzCon being canceled. I'm curious to see how companies start to make their announcements. But the big thing with something like E3 being canceled is that was usually the place where indie developers, third parties could meet with some of your big companies, your Nintendos, your Microsofts, to kind of pitch games to them. It was a huge event for stuff like that. So the fact that that isn't a thing anymore is obviously a huge bummer and a big letdown for that. But as fans, we're still going to get most of the announcements, if not all of the announcements. Things may be delayed, things may be pushed back a bit, but we can still expect to get some stuff when we would normally be getting it. So we do have all that to look forward to. I'm curious to see when we hear anything about Overwatch 2, because like I said, we were probably not going to hear anything until November, October, whenever, it would happen, late October or November. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm excited to see what happens with Blizzard's stuff in regards specifically to Overwatch and Overwatch 2 going forward. But with everything being canceled and shut down, and with the Overwatch League on hiatus, and while stuff is starting to reopen, it's not fully reopened yet. There's an opening for stuff to do. There's not a lot for people to do sometimes. So I wanted to share some of the things going on in the Tier 2 and Tier 3 competitive Overwatch scene that you can do and pay attention to and follow over the next couple of weeks while the Overwatch League is not doing anything. The first one I want to talk about is a little bit personal, more bias-free, but the Florida Mayhem are hosting the Mayhem Collegiate Rumble with 8 teams from different Florida universities. You have the teams from the University of Central Florida, University of Florida, Florida Southern, Full Sail, Florida Atlantic, University of South Florida, Florida State, and Florida Gulf Coast. These 8 teams will be competing for their share of $5,000 in cash prizes. First place team getting $2,000, second place getting $1,500, third place getting $1,000, and fourth place getting $500. So there's that you can follow. It will be live on the Florida Mayhem YouTube channel tonight, May 27th at 5 p.m. Eastern. So you can check that out. Go Knights, charge on. That's one of the things going on. Another thing going on, of course, is Contenders. Contenders is in playoff time in every region. Everything is going on everywhere. Early June, late May. So I have a link in the description to the Contenders schedule that you can check out. But there's stuff going on all the time for Contenders that you can check out. Contenders North America, which is obviously the region that if you are watching this video in North America, you may care the most about. I don't know. May 28th, May 29th, you got some upper bracket. June 4th and June 5th, lower bracket and upper bracket semifinals. June 11th is the lower bracket round 2. June 12th is the upper bracket finals and lower bracket round 3 and the lower bracket finals. June 14th is the grand finals. Contenders Korea, which I'm sure some people care about. May 29th will be the upper bracket round 1. May 30th is upper bracket round 2 and lower bracket round 1. June 5th is upper bracket round 3 and lower brackets round 2 and 3. And then June 6th is loser finals and grand finals. At some very late times, obviously, because that is what happens here in North America. But there's obviously stuff in Australia, China, Europe, Pacific, and South America as well. So that's why I will link to the full schedule page in the description so you can look at Contenders stuff if you want to see that. Subscribe to the Contenders YouTube channel. And I believe some of them will also be streamed on the Overwatch League YouTube channel. And speaking of things being streamed on the Overwatch League YouTube channel, I talked about this last week. The show match between Runaway and Lunatic High, or at least the rosters from Runaway and Lunatic High. But we have some more information on it. There is stuff going on this Sunday, May 31st. I believe it's 5 p.m. Korean time. I don't know what time it is here. But there will be a match between some former Runaway players and some former Lunatic High players. And there will also be a replay of the Season 2 Overwatch Apex matches between Runaway and Lunatic High. The finals, or at least all of their games actually, are being played. Monday the 25th, which already passed. Tuesday the 26th, which already passed. Wednesday the 27th, which is today. But it probably already happened as well. And then the 30th, it'll be going on. So there's a bunch of stuff going on related to that. So there's a ton of Overwatch stuff going on in Tier 2 and in Tier 3 during the break. So check it all out because there is no future for Overwatch without Tier 2 and Tier 3. So support Tier 2 and Tier 3. Support Contenders, support Collegiate, support community tournaments, support all of that stuff because it all helps create an even better Overwatch community and product. But that's everything I have for you this week. If you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing for more stuff like this in the future. Comment down below your thoughts on anything that I talked about today, whether it be the Mayhem Collegiate Rumble, whether it be the cancellation of BlizzCon, whatever it may be. Please let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on anything. But I'm going to get out of here. Thank you once again. Hope you're all staying safe. Hope you're all having a wonderful week. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.